You get better with competition.
Care deeply about Jimmy, but when Trey's ready, he's ready.
All you can really ask for is the opportunity.
In New England, it's truly a competition.
You'll be a fool not to think that I don't want to be a starter.
If Mac outplays him, Cam will be standing right over there next to Bill.
Andy is our starter, and Justin's our number 2.
I've been in a situation like this before.
I think Fields should start day 1.
Rookie quarterback competitions will be one of the biggest storylines as we head towards training camp, and we're going to play a little game called Something, Nothing, Everything, with some recent comments related to these rookie signal callers. We'll start with Bears rookie Justin Fields, who said he will report to camp 2 weeks early. Quote, "For me personally, I have to do something football related, whether it's studying my plays for 45 minutes, an hour, or working out. I have to do something to feel like I'm being productive because I love to feel like I'm being productive, and I don't like feeling like I'm being lazy because that's one thing I can control is my work ethic." All right, Swagoo, we'll start with you. Something, nothing, or everything here from Justin Fields?
In the famous words of one of my favorite artists, Young Jeezy, I put that on everything. It's everything, man. I mean, look, Justin Fields understands that if he can grasp this playbook and he's ready to be the signal caller, his talent is way beyond what Andy Dalton can offer to the Chicago Bears. The only thing is Andy Dalton has experience over him. So showing up 2 weeks early, getting ready, doing something mentally every day. And I know people at home, that's what the hell he should be doing. They paying him millions of dollars. Well, the reality is all of them don't. All right, so Justin Fields having this type of attitude, this type of mentality, he understands and sees what a lot of other people see, the fact that he could take over this starting role as long as he knows how to go through this playbook and is ready to execute the plays that are called.
You know, it reminded me a little bit. Last summer I was talking to Jalen Hurts' personal quarterback coach, Quincy Avery, works with a lot of guys, and we're talking about what Hurts is doing because he's not going to play. Carson Wentz is there. He said, we're trying to steal every rep. You know, sit behind him, right, and follow along as he's doing everything because you really don't know when you're going to get your chance to get in there. So Hurts was thinking along those lines. It sounds like Fields is thinking along those lines. And the other huge thing is once he is the starter, he's going to have to look around that huddle at guys who believe in him. So being there and being around and being a presence in that building is going to matter for when ultimately the job does end up being his, because the guys in that huddle are not going to be looking at a stranger. They're going to be looking at a guy whose leadership and work ethic they've already had a chance to watch.
Yeah, give me week 1 for Justin Fields starting. Not that anybody asked me for my opinion. Another rookie who is a quarterback with a new team is Trey Lance, of course, to the 49ers. But head coach Kyle Shanahan likes what he saw out of his veteran quarterback, saying, quote, "I think Jimmy," meaning Jimmy Garoppolo, "had his best spring since we've had him. I thought Jimmy came in really good shape, really locked in, a good place physically and mentally. And I thought he had as good of OTAs as he's had." Graz, we go right back to you. Is this something, nothing, or everything?
I'd say nothing, because I don't think there's anything new here, right? We know that the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan, like Jimmy Garoppolo, think they can win with him, have been to a Super Bowl with him, as long as he stays healthy. But the reason Trey Lance is there is mainly because Garoppolo hasn't stayed healthy. So really, nothing that happens in OTAs is going to determine the Garoppolo situation. It's when Lance is ready, they're going to end up having to ship Jimmy G out of town, whether that's August or October or next March. It just doesn't. It's not going to depend on how good Jimmy G looks in OTAs. It's just going to depend on when Lance is ready and when they're ready to make that transition to their future at quarterback.
Yeah, I think it's something only insofar as Kyle Shanahan would love for the rest of the NFL to believe that they love Jimmy Garoppolo and that he looks great. And we've got a nice QB here, and it would be a shame if someone traded for him. The reality is they traded away their future for Trey Lance to be their starter. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that he starts week 1, but in my mind, that is predicated on what Trey Lance does this summer, not on what Jimmy Garoppolo does. They know who Jimmy Garoppolo is. Trey Lance is still a raw quarterback who has not, played that many reps, frankly, and I think that's what they need to see out of Trey before giving him the green light to start.
You know, y'all ever been in one of those relationships where it's coming to an end and your partner has broke up with you, but they tell you you are such a nice person and you're beautiful and I wish you so much success going forward. I don't want to hear that. You just broke up with me. That's what Shanahan is doing. He's trying to ease the blow. They understand. Like, I get it. They may need Jimmy G and all of this, whatever. He took Trey Lance 3rd overall in the NFL draft. Jimmy G knew that day, no matter what he did, looking good in OTAs or having success, he was getting the hell up out of there. So that's all Jimmy G waiting on. It's just great that they can have a great relationship after the breakup. That's all this is.
You know, honeymoons are usually where you start a relationship. This is like a closing honeymoon for Jimmy G and Kyle Shanahan. I see what you're getting at.
It is.
Swagoo. All right, let's move forward to another quarterback. The last
I don't want you no more, but you're a great guy.
Here's what Bill Belichick had to say about Mac Jones. Quote, I think Mac has a pretty good understanding of the things that we do. He has to go out there and do them and get more comfortable with them, so it's a process. Certainly giving his very best effort to do everything we've asked him to do it, and the way we've asked him to do it, which is a great place to start. He's earned a lot of respect for that, but he has a long way to go. All right, Mina, is this something, nothing, or everything?
I'm actually going to go with something because there is a lot of honesty in that quote. Maybe a little bit too much honesty if Bill was in the sort of relationship that Marcus is describing, because you don't want to tell your partner you got a long way to go, which is what he just said about Mac Jones. I think it's the truth. I also think in New England there is a genuine quarterback competition. I've said this since they drafted Mac Jones. I continue to believe it. It's not like these other towns where I do believe they want the rookies to start as soon as possible. I think Bill really wants to see how it plays out this summer, see how quickly Mac picks up the offense, whether Cam Newton looks more accurate than he did last season, and then he's going to make his decision in August.
Listen, this is too, Mina, and you make a great point, but I'm going to go and make a basketball analogy, right? John Stockton is a Hall of Famer, one of the best point guards to ever play the game. John Stockton never went out and averaged 30 a night. He never did that. That's what Mac Jones is going to be for the New England Patriots. And Bill Belichick cannot wait until he just gets a point guard at the position to facilitate and let everybody else make plays. That's based on what they did this offseason. I'm not saying Cam can't do it, but he didn't do it last year. So we'll see how this training camp goes. But Mac Jones was drafted by the New England Patriots to be a point guard, not to be a 4,000 or 5,000 yard passer a year. Take care of the football, get it in our playmakers' hands. That's how we know the formula of success to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, so if it doesn't work out, they can just trade him to the 76ers, I think, who are in desperate need at that position. Look, I think Mina's absolutely right. I think it is a quarterback competition in New England, and I think, you know, Mac Jones has to beat out Cam Newton. Now you could say, oh, well, the way Cam played last year, how hard is that going to be? But the Patriots do like Cam Newton, and they think he's capable of more than he showed last year. So I do think they're going to be watching this closely all throughout camp. I think Jones has a fair shot to win the job, but I don't know that it's a sure thing. Cam could still come on and hold on to it.
Yeah, Dan, I think it's worth noting. I think you're right. I'm not calling it a likelihood necessarily, but there's a non-zero chance that Cam Newton looks a lot better this year with a full offseason, full health, and understanding of the playbook than he did last year when things cratered in a hurry. Still to come, a former Patriots quarterback, you may have heard of him, Tom Brady, had a lot of suitors last offseason, but one team decided to pass up on the GOAT, and he was not impressed with the guy they decided to stick with.
One of the teams, they weren't interested at the very end. I was thinking, you're still